Time now for John Clarke and Bryan Dawe.
Thanks for your time.
Good evening, Brian. Good to talk to you.
Tell me, what's been the fallout from the appearance of Rupert and James Murdoch before the Parliamentary Committee?
Yeah, very interesting. There seem to be two issues emerging, Brian. The first is their performance, which is largely a perception issue.
And a very important one.
Very important one. They want to cauterise this wound, Brian.
They don't want it spreading to the US, obviously.
They don't. And the other obvious thing is that standards in journalism have been violated, which they acknowledge, which they accept, and that's not playing well here at all.
Yes, and Mr Murdoch said this was the humblest he'd ever felt.
I think what he actually said, Brian, was that it was the humblest day of his life.
So who was humble, him or the day?
Yes, humblest day of my life. Yes, I think it was the day, Brian. I think it might have been the weather that was humble.
Why hasn't the Parliament done something about these violations earlier?
Well, it was only prompted just last week by the revelations that that information had been obtained illegally.
Haven't the police resigned?
Not all of them, Brian. There are some police left, I think, in Norfolk. Oh, there's another one resigned.
So do we know what actually happened?
Well, we know what's been said.
Well, it happened at the News of the World.
At the News of the World, which is not there anymore.
The most successful newspaper in Britain.
Far and away. It was huge.
So what went wrong?
Well, all I can do is read between the lines, Brian, but what seems to have happened, on the basis of what's been said, is that some criminals broke into the offices of the News of the World and started behaving illegally.
Incredible. Did anyone else know about this?
No one had any idea, Brian.
They must have been very clever.
Who must have been?
Well, the criminals.
Oh, the criminals. The criminals were obviously very intelligent. Oh, yes, this was very well thought out.
Right, and how did the criminals get in?
Yes, yet to be determined, I think, Brian.
What, tunnelling?
Possibly tunnelling from an adjacent building, landed on the roof in choppers, I don't know. They could have been born there.
Tough work.
Oh, they were very determined people.
And what did they actually do when they got in?
Well, they behaved illegally, Brian. They hacked into people's phones. They negotiated huge payouts for each other. They arranged for all their legal expenses to be paid for by the company.
All without anybody's knowledge?
Without anybody's knowledge at all, Brian.
Well, it's a good thing the News of the World didn't find out about it,
Yeah,
eh?
weren't they lucky? Weren't they lucky?
Imagine the trouble they'd been in.
Could have been very messy.
This could have blown up in their faces.
Yeah, well, there's still the police inquiry to go through.
So they're fairly safe.
Well, we don't know yet, Brian.
And who'll be in charge of the police investigation?
Yeah, good point. We've lost a few senior police. The inquiry, it says here, will be conducted by the postmaster in Willesden, Brian.
Right. Well, keep us posted.
He's very good. He's looking for his bike and then he's getting back to the Prime Minister, it says here. Keep you posted?
Yeah.
Very amusing.